Hello, hello. What's going on? There we go. What's up, world? Jeff Lerner here. How's it going? Let me fire up my Instagram and we'll be off and running here. Excited for another day, another conversation. There we go. There we go. Give a minute for everyone to pop on. What's up? What's up, Instagram? What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Excited to be here with you for another episode of Jeff Talking in the late afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Excited to see who's on. If you're coming on, say hello. Let me know you're here. Let me know your name. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what's gone amazing for you today. And if you don't have an answer to that, let me encourage you. The day is not over. Wherever you are, whatever day you're in, that day has not concluded. So you can come up with something that's been amazing for you today, or you can create it yet. What's up, Bunny? What's up, Fluffy? What's up, Blake? What's up, Sean? Appreciate everyone. Where are you calling from? Or where are you tuning in from? Not calling, but where are you tuning in from? West Kentucky. Nice, nice. What's up, Elijah? What's up, Gabby? What's up, Logan? What's up, Pete? So many people. I can't even say hi to everyone. So today, the subject for the live today has to do with sustainability and e-commerce, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. What's up, Adrian? Hey, man, how's it going? I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It's not really about sustainability and e-commerce. Sustainability and e-commerce is a relevant trending topic on the internet. So we made the live about that so that we could hook into the trend and get more views. But I'm going to use that as a foundation for the conversation that I really, really want to have. And this is going to be a little bit of a quicker conversation. Somebody just asked if I have a course or program. Let me take this opportunity to tell you, I got more than a course. I got more than a program. I got an institute called ENTRE Institute that is disrupting modern education. What's up? Somebody from Utah. That's my wife's hometown. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't know her. Jacqueline Lerner, formerly Jacqueline Bessie of the Bessie family. Appreciate you being here. So yeah, my institute, since somebody asked, let me share. And by the way, and actually I'm going to share it by answering a question the way I answered a question for my dad today. My dad asked me a question today. I'm going to share with you what I said to him as a way of answering the question about do I have a course or a program. But before I do that, if you're already familiar with my work and you believe that we can help change the world and do good in this world, I would ask you to share. Share on whatever platform you're on. Let the world know that we have a conversation ongoing, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, decade by decade, because that's the level of seriousness that I have about what I'm doing. I will literally be doing this for decades. I am not some flash in the pan, fly by night, here today, gone tomorrow, internet wannabe guru who's going to try to get famous and then disappear with his pseudo riches because he made $142,000 online and went and tried to live a life of luxury looking like an Instagram stud or some nonsense like sadly a lot of business people online try to do. Yes, Adrian, good question. I am using StreamYard. But no, I'm in this for decades because I think we have an opportunity to completely change education permanently. My dad asked me earlier, he said, so I see a lot about this Tony Robbins guy. He said, what's really the difference between what you do and what Tony Robbins does? And I said, well, Tony Robbins, for most people, is kind of the category creator of personal development. And he's probably more than that, and he would probably bristle at being pigeonholed as a personal development guy. But, you know, the reality is that's how most people know him. But let's imagine, and this is the answer I gave my dad. I said, imagine you're an electrician. You have a small electrical service company and you want a better life. You don't get to see your family enough. You have maybe tension around money, conflict with your family. You don't have time to take care of yourself. You're working hard. You don't have enough money or enough time to feel like you can get ahead. You don't really know how to grow your business. And you go to a Tony Robbins event. Tony Robbins is going to tell you a lot of amazing stuff. I've been to a Tony Robbins event, tons of wonder at a Tony Robbins event. And you're going to come away from that event inspired and empowered as to what's possible for your life with a lot of really good strategies about how to go make it happen. But here's the challenge. You still got the same business. You still don't know how to get more customers. You still don't know how to run your business differently. You still don't know how to save time. You still don't know how to get more with less. You still don't know how to get more leverage. Maybe you have some different ideas about things you could do nutritionally or dietarily. You want to, maybe work out a little more, or you want to communicate with your family differently. But the reality is the stresses of your financial situation, the stresses of your lack of knowledge around how to effectively run a business in the modern digital economy are going to make implementing a lot of what you learn at that event very challenging, because it's hard to do all this awesome stuff for your life when you're working 80 hours a week and you never have enough, you have too much month at the end of the money, right? So then let's say you go to like a digital marketing event, like you go to Digital Marketer. Let's say you go to Traffic and Conversions, or you go to Funnel Hacking Live, and you learn, oh, there's this world out there where you can make money. You can do modern, digital progressive business. Okay, that's cool. So what? You're gonna get rich so that you can have this lifestyle business, and that's cool. So maybe if you go to one, do that for a couple of years, then you go to the Tony Robbins event so you can learn what to do with the knowledge and the freedom. Okay, that's cool. That's one approach. Or you just come to ENTRE Institute, where we're going to work on the whole project at the same time, where we're going to tackle in a pragmatic way the financial and the operational challenges around having a business in the modern world. And we're going to speak to your personal, we're going to speak to your physical, we're going to speak to your communication, we're going to speak to your health, we're going to speak to your longevity. We're going to speak to all of it. We are the one-stop shop, the world's first complete ecosystem for building the life of your dreams. I will say that again because I'm getting really used to saying it now that it's matured to the point where I can see it. I can see it actually coming to fruition. It is the world's first ecosystem for building the life of your dreams. Somebody said it's intense, LOL. By the way, the person that said that is a member of ENTRE Institute. He's one of our students, and it is intense. It's the most intense. If I have my way, it's going to be the most intense experience of your life to come through our programs. But once you come, you'll never want to leave. We're like a virus. We get in you and we never leave you. We never let you go on and be the same. If you actually get into our programs, get into our process, get into our courses, get into our culture. By the way, I'm getting so much positive affirmation right now. Somebody just said it's awesome. Somebody just said, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. This is my life's work. I get emotional about it. I don't have enough hours in the year to tell all that I had to go through to get to this point, but it is what it is. It was all meant to be. Here we are. We have, and somebody said they give you your own advisor. That's the part I like. Yes, you get one-on-one customized attention. How do I find e-commerce stores? How do I find the owner's email? That's a very specific question that I recommend you go ask on YouTube or a search engine. Somebody just said, you'll expedite success from 5 years to 5 months. Yes, we are all about doing two things. We are about compressing time, accelerating progress, and we're also about increasing the scale of what people realize is possible for their life. So we're not only going to get you there faster, but we're going to make there a bigger place than you ever even imagined. Anyway, I'm so grateful that it's becoming what it is, what I saw in my mind, that I had this little glimmer that it could be a few years ago. Somebody said, sorry, you guys are going to do your best to make me emotional. Somebody said, I get emotional. I've cried taking notes. ENTRE's really opened my eyes. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I don't know your name. I am Jaeb-SI. Thank you. It really is a good thing. Out of pride, but out of humility. Because what I've learned through this effort is that if you genuinely seek to serve you will be rewarded in quantitative and qualitative ways beyond what you could possibly imagine. Thank you, everyone. So what I wanted to talk about today in terms of the sustainability in e-commerce is not so much sustainability in e-commerce, it's more the opportunity of looking at challenges. And you can go in the news and you can see that there are sustainability problems right now. There are environmental problems. There are fires. Never mind all the personal human stuff going on in the world. There's just environmental challenges in the world. And so what that got me thinking is, there's all these businesses. There's all these, green technology startups and these sort of data-driven solutions, but some of them are very human solutions. And one of the things that I run up against with people is they're like, well, I want to be a business owner, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, but I don't have an idea, I don't have a thing, I don't have a mission, I don't even have a brand or any of it. And I say, well, go check the news. All entrepreneurs do is solve problems. And if you're concerned that there's a shortage of problems that need solving, go check the news. That's all the news is, a list of problems. I look at the news and I just see entrepreneurial ideation, cloud of possibility. It's like every news story is about a problem. And it's a problem that some entrepreneur is going to solve. Environmental problems, they're just problems that some entrepreneur is going to solve. I mentioned I was talking to my dad. My dad's an investor and he works with a socially conscious investing fund. It's funds that manage money, but they only invest in socially conscious and progressive businesses. And he has, for example, one business that uses satellites. So the satellites look down at the field and they can measure from space. They can measure the water saturation, the hydration of different spots on the field, right? So then you think about a field in agriculture, you've got those sprinklers, right? They water the field, spread all this water all over the place. And it's a waste of water. Most of the water evaporates. So what the satellite does is it can see from up in space, where are the dry spots in the field? What's the relative hydration and saturation of the field? And it can say, hey, don't bother watering that part of the field. Only water there because that's the dry spot. And they can water a field now with only using 10% of the water by looking at it from space and imaging in whatever their fancy way and seeing where the water is. That's an example. That's one example of go look at the news, find a problem and solve it. Now you may say, well, I don't have the technical expertise. I don't have the connections. I don't have the capital. I can't do anything with space and satellites and all that. Well, first of all, that's a limiting belief. You actually have way more than maybe you realize, but we'll go with it for now. Let me tell you instead about Julio and Kevier. Julio and Kevier are 10 and 11-year-old boys in Puerto Rico. And they saw that there's all this trash, all this leftover recyclable refuse in the streets in Puerto Rico. And they said, well, what if we could take some of that trash and use it to create household products and use it to create, accessories and jewelry and ornaments and such. So they went to the Friends of Puerto Rico Foundation, 10 and 11-year-old kids, and said, hey, there's like junk in our streets, but we think we could do something with it. Would you guys be willing to back us to start a business? And they said yes. And now there's 10 and 11-year-old, two 10 and 11-year-old, or a 10 and 11-year-old kid in Puerto Rico who now have a business turning recycled junk that's littered the streets around them into accessories and household items and reselling it for profit. There's no shortage. Flip on the news, find a problem, use your brain, solve it, make a business, right? It's that simple, right? Simple, yes. Easy, no. For me, I had a phone call maybe 4 years ago with a guy who used to be one of the big wigs at Microsoft. And this was a guy that I met through some connections because I'm always hustling. I'm always building relationships. I'm always trying to level up my communication so that I can get the attention of people to go, hey, this guy's got something to say. This guy, he may not have done it all. He may not know it all, but he's got a good vibe. You know what? Maybe I'm going to connect him or be a reference point and I ended up getting connected to the This guy was one of the first 10 people hired at Microsoft. He ended up managing a $10 billion division of Microsoft. And I talked to him, I think it was 2016 I talked to him. Yeah, it must have been because it was the year before I had the idea to sell my agency. And he said, listen, Jeff, the biggest industry in the world that's rife for disruption is education. Look at the traditional education process. Look at the cost. Look at the structure. Look at the inefficiency. Thanks, Miko. I appreciate that, man. He said, look at education and tell me there's not opportunity there. And that seed percolated in my mind for a solid 2 years before I started Entre, but it's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Somebody shows you a problem, the creative person over time tries to come up with a solution because that's where every business opportunity is going to be. So assume you come with me on this. You go, okay, I'm going to find a problem and I'm going to brainstorm a solution. Then it becomes how to build it. How do you actually build and get traction with your solution once you've identified a problem? And it needs to be a problem that significantly impacts people's quality of life such that they would potentially be willing to pay for a solution to it. And it needs to be a problem that's widespread enough that there's a big enough market of people that would pay for a solution to it that you can actually build a viable business. You know, education was a really good one, right? Student debt is the second largest category of debt in the United States. There's over $1 trillion of student debt. And most people that have student debt will tell you that it was not necessarily a great trade as measured by the economics of the increased income that they're generating from the job that they're having to use now to pay off the student debt. Most people who have student debt will tell you that, you know, man, I'm glad I went to school, but God, I really wish it'd been a lot cheaper. And there's really no way to explain why it needs to cost $100,000, $200,000 to get a college degree. It's just because, you know, there's a lot of factors. It is what it is, but that was the problem. So I set about solving it. And here I am, just like Julio and Kevier set about solving a problem, and there they are. And just like anybody sets out solving a problem, and there they are. But what does it actually take once you have an idea for the solution? It takes 3 things to get traction with your solution. It takes communication, like communication skills, the ability to articulate your ideas, to attract the people that you need to align with you in order to help you with your ideas. It takes confidence, because nobody's going to align with you. It doesn't matter how articulate you are. It doesn't matter how much technical knowledge or how many fancy words you can throw around the issue. If you don't project confidence, nobody's in. Nobody's in. Nobody's going to want to work for you. Nobody, unless you bribe them by overpaying them. You know, here's the deal. You're going to have to overpay people to work for you if you lack confidence. You can underpay people to work for you if you're confident enough. Trust me, I bootstrapped Entre from day one. Now I'm finally in a position I can pay people what they're truly worth. But I built this thing on peanuts. I built this thing, literally, it was a self-funded startup. And, you know, it's crazy. Someday we'll do the calculation on the ROI of what I've built based on what I put into what's come from it, you know, decades from now. And it's going to be like, whoa, how'd that happen? And it's going to be communication, confidence, and vision. Vision's the third thing. You have to be a communicator. You have to have confidence if you want to attract people that will align with you and help you meet your goals. And you have to have vision. There has to be a reason worth doing the thing. And typically the problem lends the vision. The vision is the world without the problem. Somebody said, do you have a book list? I do. I'm not going to go into it now, but I will give you one because I'm going to quote it here later. And that is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. It is one of the most game-changing, life-changing books that I've ever read. And again, I'm going to reference it here in a minute. But communication, confidence, and vision. People say they don't have enough money. People say they don't have enough time. People say they don't have enough skills. I say, nope. If you're struggling, it's because you're short on communication and or confidence and or vision. I believe it. And this is the confidence. I just believe that you could put me into any situation. Give me some time. Give me access to people that know what to do and how to do it. And I will emerge as a superlative in that situation, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, because I'm confident in my ability to assimilate information, to communicate it back to the world in a way that's effective and helps move the ball forward and get results. And ultimately, because I'm confident, I know where my heart is, I'm going to try to to operate from a vision that makes the world a better place. And ultimately, communication, confidence, and vision. It's how you go from shooting some videos in your car to, I'm going to pull the data. I'm going to pull the data right now. Actually, hold on, I'm going to refresh it. So far this month, the 20-page ebook that I wrote and that I give away for free on the internet, so far this month has had 139,175 downloads in 19 days. So we're looking at, what's that? Close to 8,000 downloads a day. We've had 4,913 paying customers in the business that started 2 years ago with me shooting random videos in my car with no team, no support, no products to sell. How? Communication, confidence, and vision. I got heckled. I got derided. I got teased. I got attacked, but I knew what I was doing. And I stayed strong in my communication. I adhered to my vision, and I never, ever, ever wavered in my confidence. That's how you do it. You can change the world with communication, confidence, and vision. Hear me. You can change the world with those three things. You don't have to have money. Julio and Kevier, forgive me, Julio and Kevier, no money, but communication, confidence, and vision. Admittedly, kids have an advantage. Their communication is cute. But not when it comes to giving them your money. Nobody cares if you're cute when they give them your money. You got to have the confidence and you got to have the vision too. That's how they got the money to do their business. So anyway, I have to be pretty succinct with this conversation because I literally have to go pick up our meals. And as I was, our meal prep, I do prepared meals. In fact, I'll show you real quick what I eat every day. I waste no time every day dealing with food. I just eat usually 4 or 5 of these plus a protein shake. So I never have to say, what do I feel like? Where am I going to go? How am I going to get my food? And I've done the math on it, and I figure it gives me back 8 to 10 hours a week. That's like 5 or 6% of my life. And that's like, I don't know, whatever the math is, 8, maybe 6 to 9% of my waking life that I reclaim simply by the decision to eat out of these containers, pick them up. Actually, we'll pick them up twice a week and never, other than if it's like a date night with my wife or we're out of town or something, and never have to muck around trying to figure out what I'm going to eat. So this, and by the way, this hooks in with the confidence conversation. Why is that so important? And why doesn't everybody do it? And by the way, it also means I'm always eating healthy food. I'm never self-sabotaging. I have pretty sustained energy levels. I can eat 4 or 5 times a day in less time than most people eat 1 to 3 times a day. I feel better. Why doesn't everybody do that? In fact, I'll take a moment. I will take a moment and ask you. I'm sure everybody knows. That like it would be a smart move to buy pre-prepared healthy meals and just discipline yourself to like live off of that as your primary food source. Why doesn't everybody do it? I'm curious. Anybody want to share your reason why you don't? I appreciate that. I want to hear if there's a reason why you don't do meal prep. I know it takes a minute for the feeds to update. Anyone? Why don't you do meal prep? And I already know the answers because I ask people this all the time. Why don't people do meal prep? Yeah, the feeds are being slow. But I know the answer is because I don't have the money. I don't want to go pay. I think we pay, I forget what it is, like $1,300 a month or something. Well, let me say, if you've never been around good meal prep, if you live in any decent sized city, it's out there. It's out there. You just got to look for it. Wanda gets her food delivered every day. That's what I'm talking about. Most people don't see the value in it, don't think it tastes good. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A has sold sold people on coming to them. That's true. It's all of it. Lack of discipline, lack of money. It's a commitment. Here's the thing. I get that it's a commitment, but it's like marriage. Listen, I'm a man. There's a few things I want in this world. I want companionship. I want support. I want sex. I want XYZ. I want a few things, right? So I can spend all my time scrambling around in my life trying to find those things, or I can commit to one. So yeah, it's a commitment, but that doesn't mean that it's a cost, right? It actually makes it a lot easier to get your needs met when you commit to the right things. So yes, meal prep is a commitment, but it's what is it a commitment to? It's a commitment to time savings. It's a commitment to better energy levels. It's a commitment to better performance, but it's also a commitment to a cost. And that's where a lot of people get stopped. So, I don't have the money. Well, actually, if you do the math, I find that meal prep isn't really that much more expensive than just scrambling around trying to find food all the time. Because when you're doing that, you end up eating out, which is always more expensive. But the other thing is, let's assume that it does cost more. Let's assume that if you committed to meal prep, it would cost you another $500 a month. So, but how much time would it free up? Let's say it would, by my calculation, again, it frees up 8 to 10 hours a week, but I eat 4 or 5 times a day. So maybe for the average person who doesn't want to eat that many meals, which I would recommend you do, but maybe it only frees up 4 or 5 hours a week. So that's what, 16 to 20 hours a month. Could you take 16 to 20 hours a month and go make $500? Like, if you can't take the time that meal prep frees up and go use it to offset the hypothetical cost of meal prep, what does that say? What is that really about? It's not about opportunity. You can go mow lawns. You can get a side hustle showing houses on the weekends. Like, there's easy ways to offset $500 to $1,000 a month if somebody's giving you, 20 to 40 hours a month to do it. What is it about? It's about confidence. People often, I believe, when they say, I don't have the money for meal prep, it's no different than saying, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to read books. I don't have time to write in my journal every night. Well, here's the thing. The time you can easily use to replace the money. And even if it's something you say you don't have the time for, let's say working out. Okay, I get up at 3:30 in the morning and work out. People say, Jeff, how do you do that? You only sleep, I typically sleep about 5.5 hours a night. I try to be asleep by 10. I get up at 3:30. I take a 20 to 30 minute nap most afternoons. People say, how do you do that, Jeff? It's a self-perpetuating habit. The workouts, the consistency, the consistent wake-up time, you create energy just by getting up at the same time every day. So right there, just by deciding I will get up at the same time every single day, you'll probably, over time, if you stick to it, you'll shave 30 minutes to an hour off of your sleep requirement because your body learns to sleep more efficiently because it's not having to constantly adjust its circadian rhythms. It knows when to go to sleep. It knows how the sleep cycles are supposed to go, and it knows when they need to terminate so that you can wake up refreshed. So you'll save 30 minutes to an hour just by waking up at the same time every day. You'll dramatically increase your energy efficiency by getting in shape by going to the gym, which actually also reduces sleep requirement, at least a little bit, another 30 minutes a day, let's say. I get all told about 6. I'm not like a light sleeper. I'm not a person with a low sleep requirement. I used to need like 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night when I was a musician who kept no consistent schedule. But now, because I have committed to those things, it actually gives me back the time and it gives me back the money 100 times over to support being the person that will stay committed to those things. But it's about the confidence. It's about having the confidence to believe that if you do invest the money to free up the time, you'll actually do the things with the time to recoup the money, to create more value than what it cost you. That's confidence. It's a confidence issue. Look, man or woman, if I give you 10 extra hours a week, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to catch up on Seinfeld reruns? Are you going to play video games? Are you going to sleep in? Are you going to go get ice cream? Or are you going to do the things that will, by a factor of 100, pay you back for whatever it costs you to get those 10 hours. I would suggest in the case of meal prep, I would suggest in the case of setting a rigorous schedule, I would suggest in the case of getting up early, I would suggest in the case of journaling, I would suggest in the case of reading books, even at the expense of sometimes listening to music, or just, choose to listen to audiobooks instead. All of those things will pay you back dividends and then some at multiples of what they person that will take the time and do the work to create the value. And if you believe you are, you're more likely to. Again, it's about confidence. The same thing that it takes to flip on the news, see a problem, brainstorm a solution, go out, build a team, raise the money, create the business plan, execute, make it happen. The same confidence is the same confidence that'll tell you, hey, go ahead and spend the money, start preparing your meals, get up early, go to the gym, do the work, read the books, live the life, because it all pays itself back 100-fold. My friend Evan Carmichael says the greatest problem in the world is that people don't believe in themselves. I've never heard a more true statement, because if everybody believed in themselves, there would be no need for Jeff Lerner to sit on the internet and say these things, because everybody yeah, duh, Jeff, I believe in myself. I know that if I spend the money on meal prep, I'll take the extra time and use it to make the money back 10 times. I know that if I invest the energy to get up early and go to the gym, that it'll pay me back many times over with better sustained energy levels and better performance and productivity throughout the day. That also, by the way, will make me a lot more money. Like, everybody would know this stuff. It would be a given if we had the confidence, if we had the self-belief. But that's not how the world is. So that's why I do what I do. Honestly, I should say this to Evan, like, listen, man, if everybody believed, you wouldn't, the world wouldn't need your YouTube channel with its 2 million subscribers or whatever it's got. But we'll get there someday, at least a lot of us, not everyone. We'll never have a world where everyone lives this way and feels this way and thinks this way. I don't believe the universe supports total equanimity, but it's everybody's choice. Even though not everyone will, anyone can. I say that all the time. In closing, because I really do have to go pick up my meals. In closing, I'm going to say this. If you haven't read that book I mentioned, Secrets of the Millionaire Minds by T. Harv Eker, it talks about the 17 wealth files that we need to install or reinstall in our minds in order to become as successful as possible. One of my favorites yesterday. What was the one we talked about yesterday? We talked about one yesterday on the live. I don't even remember what it was. I cycle through the 17 all the time. They're pretty much like a mantra, like a list of commandments for being really successful in this world. But one of them is that rich people choose to get paid based on results. Poor people choose to get paid based on time. So ask yourself, am I thinking like a rich person or am I thinking like a poor person? Because if you're saying, well, investing the money in meal prep to get more energy and free up the time is a bad trade, that's because you're valuing the time more than the results that you could create with the time. But if you're looking at that and going, oh, hell yeah, give me an extra 10 hours a month, I'll go make an extra 10 grand. Then you're thinking like a rich person, because you believe, you have the confidence in what you're capable of and the results that you can create if you just have more resources to work with. And time is the most precious resource. That's my 2 cents. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.